This is a humble attempt at dispelling the ambiguity that often accompanies the very famous concept of causation or causality. Call it whatever you may. It is true that cause is always followed by effect, that consequence is always preceded by choice of action. Indeed, we do reap what we sow, but almost never in the way we might expect. And the reason for this is quite simple. You must understand that the desirable outcome that we tend to expect is fundamentally a prediction which is predicated on preference. So keep it well in mind that all we might prefer or might not prefer is actually rooted in memory. So, essentially, preference is always deduced from so-called past experience. That basically means, in order for us to know what we prefer, we must be familiar with a reason or reasons as to why. But typically, the reason or reasons tie back, or at least must tie back, to our self-interest. That's the usual case. And so, when something does not appeal to our self-interest, then it's automatically disqualified from being a preferred possibility. Crazy, I know. This is a very delicious cup of tea. I wish I could share this with all of you. My mouth feels like Wonderland. Anyways, we've now reached a point where I must add the fact that what I've just described is a very survival-oriented way of relating with reality. And I'm not stating this for the purpose of passing judgment, because I understand. I truly understand. I understand that what we've come to refer to as survival mode was instilled deep within our psyches way before we had the conscious awareness of the fact that we actually do have a choice. The choice to live beyond the limitations that were imposed on our predecessors, and of course later passed down to us. The choice to love as if you'll never get hurt. Or maybe let me rephrase that by saying the choice to love everyone or every form of life in the way that we would like to love our very own. The choice to treat everyone with the level of respect that we would like to be treated with. The good news is that you can start making such choices. It's never too late. On top of that, the only permission that you will ever need is yours and yours alone. I mean, You are having this experience of reality as an individual, right? Right. And for that very reason, it all begins with you. Boom, 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 boom. You. My bad, I couldn't help myself. I really couldn't. But on that note, I will say this. Forget what the people think. This is about you allowing yourself to experience the rich broadness of reality and ultimately of self. For that, my dear friend, is your divine inheritance. But if you don't make the choice to immerse your being in this splendor we call reality, then your experience of life will remain an expression of mediocrity and staleness. A redundant experience of reality, if I may. So you have to choose. Blue pill or red pill or no pill. Fortunately, or perhaps unfortunately, you alone bear the responsibility. But choosing ignorance and neglect will leave you at the mercy of those who are not so careless. The predators that are more intentional, although misguided. And that's pretty much it from me today. But please remember that your experience of life is a dynamic interplay of sowing and reaping. And so the promise of life is this: you will inevitably reap all your sowing. And that, for the human being, is causation, causality. Again, call it whatever you may. But best keep your sowing constructive and life enhancing, conducive to life, all forms of life, because that is the meaning of living. I often hear people ask the question as if it's actually relevant, as if there is some meaning out there that's to be sought. Hence, we find people saying things like, oh, I'm trying to find meaning for this life. The meaning of life is life. And the way I typically describe life, although it is indescribable, I often boil it down to the fact that life is potential, because life can be anything. And that is the meaning. But yes, with that being said, my beautiful friends, love and much light. Until next time.